As you know, this week's parsha is a very unique parsha. It speaks about the encounter of Yaakov and Esav after Yaakov living with Lavan for 20 years. So the parsha starts off, Vayishlach Yaakov malachim lefanav el Esav achiv arza seyes deyadem. Yaakov sent angels in front of him to Esav, and he says to the angels, go to Esav and tell Esav I would like to meet with him and see how he's doing. And tell him like this, Im Lavan garti va'echar ab ota va'yili shor v'chamor tzeva v'shivcha. Tell Esav, I want you to tell Esav. What should you tell Esav? I lived with Lavan and I waited till now, 20 years, and I have ox, donkey, sheep, servants, and maidservants. That's what you should tell Esav. So the question is, what's the point of Yaakov telling the messengers, tell Esav, that I lived with Lavan for 20 years. And guess what I have? I have oxen, I have donkeys, I have sheep, and then he says I have also humans, slaves and maids. That means what's more important is the ox, then the donkey, then the sheep, then the servant, and then the maidservant. What is that? What is he trying to say here? And the answer is an interesting answer. Yaakov's job was to refine the world and make the world a dwelling place for God, which is, by the way, the job and the mission of every single Jew in this world. We are an extension of Yaakov. When he lived in Lavan's house for 20 years, what did he do there in those 20 years? He says, Im Lavan garti. What does it mean, Im Lavan garti? I lived with Lavan. In Hebrew, instead of garti, you could say the word Im Lavan darti. Darti means that I dwelt. Why do I use the word garti? Rashi says interesting. The word garti is 4 letters. Taf, Resh, Yud, Gimel. 613. That in Lavan's house, what was I there for? I had to elevate Lavan. Lavan, his source is a very high source. What's the translation of the word Lavan? Lavan is white. What kind of white? Not color white, but transparent, which is above colors. It's above chesed, which is white. It's above gvura, which is red. It's a Lavan source where he emanates from is a very, very high source. However, in this world, he's the biggest liar on 2 feet. My job in his house was to refine him and do all 613 mitzvahs there in those 20 years. How did I do it? I worked 7 years for one wife and 7 years for another. Why 7 years? Why do you work 7? Why didn't you say 7 days? What 7 years? Because he knew the only way he could refine Lavan and bring him up to his true state of reality is if he refines the 7 emotional character traits of the world of Atzilut, which Rachel represents the 7 emotional character traits that are revealed, and Leah represents the 7 emotional character traits that are subconscious. So working 14 years, he was able to elevate and make the world a fine and refined world by doing the 630 mitzvahs. And guess what? Even the cattle, my sheep, my donkey is no more donkey. How do you say donkey in Hebrew? Chamor. Chamor means chumriyut, which is materialism, which is coarseness, which is physicality. Vayihili chamor. The donkey became me, meaning I refined the world, the materialism, that it became part of mine, that it's now holy. Even the sheep is holy. Even the servants. So since I did that over the last 20 years, guess what? I am ready, Esav, to now take you and refine you. In other words, what he's trying to tell Esav is, after living in Lavan's house for 20 years and accomplishing everything, that I refined him and I made a better place, and we were able to have 11 children, and we did all mitzvahs. Now I am ready to get you, which is a much harder refinement to go, because Lavan was a liar. Okay, you go to his source and you refine him. You are a murderer. You are everything that you have, because we call it Gevura. Lavan was Chesed of Klippa, and Esav was Gevura of Klippa, which is severity. So he says to Esav, angels, he tells the messengers, tell Esav, I already refined Lavan. I got the negative of the lusts and desires. I elevated it. Now I'm ready to take you. So guess what? They go to Esav, they tell him the whole story, and Esav, they come back and they say, Yaakov, I have some surprise for you. Esav is not ready. He has 400 men. What's 400? In Kabbalah, they say 400 represents the 400 negative forces of negativity. Because in Torah, there's the 400 Batei Dinim, 400 houses of severity. So not only is Esav not ready to be refined, he's so negative that he wants to fight the holiness. So Yaakov says, I'm ready to take Esav and to bring him up to his prime state and work together and make this world a place for God. And the angels tell me Esav is far, far removed from your reality. He's never going to be refined. He's never going to be, he's so far vergrept and verklumps. That means he's so negative and such an evil person. There's no way you're going to refine him. So Yaakov got scared and says, what do I do now? So he realized that he has to do it for Esav. In other words, Esav is not ready. I got to do what Esav was supposed to do. I got to do it, and therefore he went through the whole process, as we see in the parsha, till he got Esav to kiss him, hug him, and cry, and so on. The message we have from this parsha is that every Jew is sent by God in this world. Your job is to live in a world of Lavan, which is lust, desires, temptation in that. In the world of Esav, which is murder, rape, and so on and so forth. And your job is to bring Garti, to refine the world and get the world elevated so that the world should be ready for the dwelling of God, the Mashiach, b'mheira b'yameinu amen.
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 What's love on the
Garti. G-A-R-T-I.
Was love unrefined? Did it work?
Yeah.
He was exotic?
Not only was he refined, what happened when Yaakov ran away from Lavan?
I don't know.
Lavan ran after him, and he said, you forgot a few things you didn't refine yet. Let me give it to you.
You sure?
Yeah.
So he was exotic?
Of course. By the end.
What Yaakov did to Esau, he also changed.
Esav still, Esav didn't change. That's the problem.
Esav the same.
He asked Yaakov to go with him because he was ready to go in Yaakov's way.
Esav was not ready.
But-
Esav was not ready.
No, Yaakov was not ready because if
Esav.
he went with Esau,
Rabbi.
Mashiach would have
Lavan
come.
was never defined because Balak was from Lavan, right? Rabbi. Wasn't Balak from Lavan?
The Rebbe's mind was set
Bilam.
that if
So how could he be refined?
Yaakov went with Esau. And Yaakov, and he said Esau was already a changed person, that Mashiach would have come. And Yaakov didn't want Mashiach to come yet. Because the people weren't ready and too many people would have been lost. That's from the Rebbe's mind. It's all very interesting. The mind is interesting because the mind teaches you about balance. Alan, what you said today, vis-a-vis the Tanya, you're absolutely right. But the idea is not to make fun like you can. The idea is to get the rabbi to explain it to you so you understand. Not going to do it. He will do it. He did it this
How many
morning.
years ago this was?
That was an explanation. That was the best explanation I've heard of this Tanya. Okay. What's I'm coming? What you miss, in my opinion only, is a revelation of what he's trying to teach you. Because once you feel that revelation with that closeness to God, you'll never talk about anything else like you're talking about. You have to feel it. And you can feel it. You have the ability because you're spiritual. You don't want to open yourself up to it. You open yourself up to it, you'll be a different person.